Особое внимание на правую сторону.
Russian military police begin patrolling northeast of Syria's Manbij, Syria. Sputnik. The Russian military police deployed in the Syrian province of Aleppo have begun patrolling northeast of the town of Manbij, a police representative told reporters. The patrol route lies along with the frontline positions of the Syrian Armed Forces several kilometers from the village of Qeirata on the Sajur River, not far from where it flows into the Euphrates. The officer said. According to him, this area was patrolled by U.S. troops who withdrew toward the Iraqi border when Turkey's operation in northeast Syria began 10 days ago. The Sajur acts as a contact line between the Syrian Armed Forces and anti-government armed groups backing Ankara in its Syria operation. The officer added that there were patrols southeast of Qeirata as well, near Qara Qozak, which is located on the left bank of the Euphrates, next to a bridge and a road that heads in the direction of Mosul, Iraq. Most passengers and goods are transported via the bridge. The nearest similar crossing is more than 60 miles southeast. In Raqqa, the officer said, Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Turkish counterpart, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, agreed Tuesday that the Russian military police and Syrian forces would patrol the area along the Syrian border with Turkey. Prior to this, Turkey and the United States reached an agreement on establishing a 120-hour ceasefire in northeast Syria to allow the withdrawal of YPG fighters from the border area. However, both Ankara and the Kurds have accused each other of violating the truce. On the 9th of October, Erdogan announced the launch of Operation Peace Spring in northeast Syria to clear the border area of YPG fighters and create a safe zone for the relocation of Syrian refugees currently residing in Turkey. Russia reached deal to control Syrian areas once patrolled by the U.S. The leaders of Russia and Turkey agreed Tuesday after more than 5 hours of talks on how to jointly patrol parts of Syria that until recently were controlled by Kurdish forces. Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey signed a 10-point memorandum at the Black Sea resort of Sochi that is set to go into effect at midday Wednesday local time. Under the deal, Russian military police and Syrian border guards will first facilitate the withdrawal of Syrian Kurdish forces from the Turkish border. Russians and Turks will then jointly patrol the area now occupied by the Turkish military. Russian military police and border guards from Syria will cross over the Syrian side of the border with Turkey. At that point, the two forces will facilitate the removal of YPG elements and their weapons, according to the memorandum. The Kurdish YPG fighters, the key U.S. allies in the fight against security troublemaker, will have to retreat roughly 20 miles from the Turkish-declared security zone in northern Syria. The pullback is expected to last about 6 days, the memorandum said. Once it's completed, Russia and Turkey will jointly patrol that zone. As NPR's Jane Arif reports, the deal brokered by Turkey and Russia allows for Turkish-Russian patrols outside the zone previously brokered by the U.S., while giving the Kurds an extra 150 hours to withdraw from the area. It also calls for Kurdish fighters to withdraw from Manbij and Tal Rifat, which are outside the immediate conflict area. The U.S. brokered deal, put into place after Turkey began bombarding Kurdish facilities, is set to expire late Tuesday. On Tuesday afternoon, Katie Waldman, a spokeswoman for Vice President Mike Pence, said in a statement that Pence received notice from a top commander of the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, notifying him that all SDF forces have withdrawn from the relevant area of operations. The new Russia-Turkey agreement is widely seen as a victory for Russia and represents a swift shift in control of the northern territories in Syria. Russians are replacing U.S. troops that patrolled this area of war-torn Syria for years. The dramatic change began when the White House announced earlier this month that Turkey was moving ahead with a long-planned operation into northern Syria, adding it won't be involved with the operation. That decision effectively abandoned America's Kurdish allies. Turkey views the YPG as security troublemaker. As NPR's previously reported, the U.S. decision led to a hasty change in alliances. Kurdish troops struck an alliance with the Syrian regime, which is backed by both Russia and Iran. The move to withdraw U.S. forces has angered lawmakers from both sides of the aisle on Capitol Hill. On Tuesday afternoon, senators on the Foreign Relations Committee heard testimony from two Trump administration officials, including James Jeffrey, the U.S. envoy for Syria. He is expected to appear before a House panel on Wednesday.